Hello, this is Andrine, a Jewish American priestess. Today I'm bringing you the reading for the year 2024. We have the new year coming up over the weekend, and we're here to see what is up for that. I mean, we're going to do a big general reading. It's going to do a full cast of all the Hebrunes, and then we'll read to see what we have coming for the new year. And I don't know what that's going to look like. No one can, no one does. But one of the things that was really interesting to me when I looked at the number 2024 is that if we add it together, we get the number 44, which in Gematria would be the letter Mem and the letter Dalet, which is a gestation period and a doorway. The Mem is frequently seen as a womb or a uterus gestating something, and the Dalet is the delta of Venus. It's the birth canal. It's the female genitalia. So we have this gestation and this birth, and if you add 4 and 4 together, you get Chet, which is the first letter of the word Chai, meaning life. So I love that right now as we're going into 2024. The idea of gestation, birth, and life coming out of that. So let's do a full spread reading. What we're going to do is we're going to scramble up the letters. I've got my Myrtle Hebrunes here and in my incantation bowl. And we're going to spread them out, dump them out onto the giant altar plate and remove all the ones that are face down. And then we'll read what is left. So 2024. Okay, first we're going to take out everything that's face down except for the Ein Sof when we find it. And we'll read what is left on the altar plate. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so that we can get a closer look. Okay, let's start out by looking to see what looks like our kind of central thread here through the center. Interestingly, we don't have anything right in the center. I mean, it is a little bit of a domed bowl, so that makes sense. But the closest thing that I have to the center here are the letter Tzadi and the letter Gimel. And they're not straight in the center of this, just a little bit to the right. And I'm an English speaker, so I'm going to read left to right, just because that's more familiar and comfortable for me. I know some people read right to left with Hebrew, looking at a cast like this, but this is what I'm going to do for me. And I think I'm going to take the letters as they fell, and we'll see how that looks. So actually, I'm going to start on the left. The furthest left here is what I'm seeing as the furthest past, and then we'll move our way into the future here. So the letter that's on the absolute furthest left is actually the Ein Sof, which is lovely. The Ein Sof, which is the blank Hebrew, it's the rune that is that which came before all time. So we have the idea of the void, the tohu vavohu, the unformed, that which came before divinity made creation. It is the blank substrate onto which all the other letters are carved. So the time before time, the unknown, that which came before and that which will come again at the end. And that's beautiful for the furthest in the past. Of course, it is also a cycle and a circle, so it will be also what comes in the future at the very end of time. So we have that on the very far left, and it's also a little bit below the line. And I think that for me says this is something that's been challenging, is the unknown, that we don't know what it was. There's this chaos, this primordial chaos, this boundlessness, but the unknown can be a little bit challenging at times. So this below the line Ein Sof showing up here in the far past is something came before. It was unknown, it was unformed. It was the infinite that came before all these things that are coming next. So maybe this is part of 2023 or the very beginning of 2023, like we didn't know what things were going to happen in this last year, and now we've come through that and we're going into the future. The next thing that's time-wise in this reading is we have the letter Vav, and it's up above the line. This is the thing that's helped us get through. We have the connection. Vav is literally the letter that means and in Hebrew. It is a tall root that is grounded in the earth, but is reaching up toward the heavens. So it's this idea of standing tall, maybe with a little bit of a bowed head, with a little bit of humility here, that is getting us through this time and connecting with the earth, connecting with ourselves, certainly, and connecting with others, as well as reaching up for connection with the divinity. This is the thing that's gotten us through in the past, is this connection piece. That seems really resonant for me. Those things that have made it possible to get through this difficult year, this difficult past 4 years, in fact, has been connection with others, connection with the divine, connection with ourselves. So that's been really useful for us in the past, and I'm guessing will continue to be useful in the future. As we come into the next place, we have the Shin. The Shin also in the past, but right on the path line, the fire. This is the mother letter of fire. Shin represents the sun and the moon and the stars in the sky, the light. So after the void and the unformed, let there be light. Light was one of the first things that was created by the divine. You can see it looks a little bit like flames coming up from the bottom here. It's 3 yuds and 4 vavs connected together. Vavs being that connection piece, and yuds representing the first letter of the divine name, and also seeds of potential. So the thing that came next was a lot of connection, a lot of seeds of potential, and fire. Fire in the form of passion and inspiration, fire in the form of possibly anger and love even, but something fiery, something that we lit up to make ourselves warm, to get ourselves through this difficult time in the past, this unknown period of time, this connection piece, bringing together on the path line our fire, our fiery self, our inspiration, and also peace and wholeness. Shalom starts with the letter Shin. Shabbat starts with the letter Shin. And Shekhinah, the indwelling presence of the divine, starts with the letter Shin, this mother letter, this that takes care of us, the fire that is here for us and gets us through the difficult times. Shin is also the head in the body, so a little bit of thought maybe there. This idea of transformation through fire. So things have been challenging. We have had our feet to the fire, and we have made it through by transforming ourselves within that. Shin is the first letter of the word Shuva, so returning to ourselves, returning to the divine, returning to the present. And also the first letter of the word Shini, which means change. So a lot of things have changed, a lot of transformations have taken place in this recent past. And those are all very accurate, at least for me. The Shin has been here on the path line. This is what's gotten us to the next step. A little bit above, we have the letter Kaf, and it is slightly almost reversed here. It's usually like this, but I'm seeing it like this. Kaf is the letter which is the palm of a hand. It's the palm of the Shekhinah raising us up, and the palm of the Shekhinah sheltering us over as a shield. Kaf represents the sun in the sky. It is related to the sun in the sky, so also sort of related to Shin here. It is reversed, so I'm guessing that this, since it's above the path line, we have this idea of something internal. We have this internal shelter, this internal give and take, this internal source power that we've been reaching up for. The Shekhinah is that source power, and the Kaf being reversed there is internal sun, the internal sun, that which has gotten us through power. Koach, which begins with Kaf, is that power. And the binary transformation of wealth and poverty, that give and exchange, that give and take, being able to give what we can and receive what we need without fear or shame. That's been a really positive influence in the recent past as well. the next letter that I'm seeing in line here is the Resh, and Resh is down below the line, that central path line. Resh is representing a new beginning, and it's the head in the body. So again, related to Shin, but it's down way low in the reading. Resh has been maybe not so helpful for us at this time. Resh is the idea of thought, since it's the head in the body. And new beginnings, maybe it's been challenging to do new beginnings recently. Resh is in the first word of Torah, Bereshit, in the beginning. So maybe starting something new has been challenging recently because things have been challenging in this last 4 years. And so it's down below the line. Our intellect has been clouded, that all of the new things, it's been difficult to start things because who knows what's going to happen with all of the problems with disease and war that we've had in this past year. Maybe it's been difficult to think our way through or to start a new thing. I think of Resh as corresponding to the Tower card in tarot, which is destructive, chaotic forces and can be seen as really challenging. So that would follow. We've had a lot of Tower moments in this past season. Rocha is the word for wickedness, and Resh is the beginning of that word, as well as Rosh, which means a poor one. So maybe we've had some poverty of spirit or actual literal poverty, and some things that we're perceiving as wicked right now are in the recent past in this time frame. So that has been a challenge for us in the near past. The next thing I see right down here at the bottom is the Yud. And the Yud is kind of tilted over there. Maybe it's a seed. As I said before, at the top of the Shin, we have 3 of them. The Yud is also the first letter of the divine name. And so maybe some of us have felt a little abandoned by divinity in the face of the challenges that we've had. But I love that the seed is down here at the bottom, because the seeds are underground right now in this winter time. So even though we are challenged by them, that we can't see them growing, we know that they're under there, and hopefully they're sprouting little roots at this time. So our inability to see the seeds growing has been challenging right now. And I failed to mention that Resh is the binary transformation of seed and barrenness in the Sefer Yetzirah, the book of creation. So we don't know what's going to bear fruit. We don't know whether these seeds are going to sprout or grow, and this is very low on the reading. So maybe there's a challenge here with this fear about seeds not sprouting, the fear about being abandoned by divinity, the Yud He Vav He, that we have unseen seed under the ground that we don't know whether it's going to bear fruit or not, and it's challenging for us. The Yud is the foundation of sexuality as well. So maybe we're not feeling connected sexually to ourselves or to divinity. Maybe we've been using sexuality inappropriately. It is that letter that begins the word Yad, which is hand. So maybe we've felt that our hands are tied, that we can't do what we want to do because of the challenges that we've encountered. It is the number 10 in Gematria, which is the number 1 manifested 10 times. So it's been a multiplicity of difficulty, is what I'm seeing. There's been a lot of fear. There's been a lot of fear around the seeds not blooming, the seeds not growing, the divine abandoning us. So let's move forward into the reading and see what comes next. We're getting more to the present right now, which I see is right in the center here. So way up high in our reading, most high letter in the reading is the Lamed. And the Lamed is the letter that begins the word Lev. Let me pull that up so you can see it. It looks like this. It's completely upside down on the top of the reading. Lev, which is the word that means heart, mind. So at the top of the reading like this is in a very positive position, and it's reversed. So I'm seeing that as an internal manifestation of a very, very positive aspect of the heart mind, that we have this ability to reach up with heart toward the divine, that this looks like a little bit of a root coming down and a sprout coming up. So these seeds, which are way at the bottom here, that we can't see and that we're really afraid of, internally, we're having an enormous amount of growth, that our roots are going deep and that we're reaching up with hope for the divine. That's the thing that's getting us through right now, is this aspiration, the ability to learn new things and maybe turn around and teach those things. Limud v'lamed both begin with lamed. It's the foundation of action in the Sefer Yetzirah. So maybe there's some action that we need to take, or we have recently taken, that has helped us, using the discernment and the wisdom of our heart mind internally, that we're really focusing on our heart inside and not getting wrapped up in too much thought down here with the Resh. And I love that's the thing that has served us most valiantly right now, is this heart, this internal heart mind that we have just come through. Lamed is also about being able to discern information. It's connected to the intestines in the body, which are that part of us that take in whatever we're receiving nutritionally or spiritually or educationally, and discerns what's nutritious for us and then excretes the rest. So we're having some kind of ability to internally discern what is useful for us and what to let go. And that's been the most helpful thing in this time that's come just before now. And just below that, also above the line in the reading, we have the letter He. The letter He, which means, here I am, Hineni. I'm showing up and remaining present for service. I'm saying, I am ready to the divine. Whatever you have for me, whatever is coming, I'm here for it. It's a little bit of a difficult letter sometimes, because we have to say, here I am, before we get to know what the plan is a lot of the time. But it is about showing up and being available and really trusting in divinity to give us the right choices forward. It's 2 of the 4 letters of the divine name. We have the Yud He Vav He, and to that end, it's the presence of the divine for us, and our presence connected together with that Vav. So we have to show up, and divinity will show up as well. And those things are both present in the name of the divine, the Yud He Vav He, which is a contraction of the verbs past, present, and future, to be. So becoming, this is the thing that's really serving us in the recent past, is the becoming one, showing up and remaining present, being available for service, connecting our presence with the presence of the divine, and again reaching up with heart internally for connection with divine and planting ourselves firmly in the earth. We're in this liminal space right now between the new year and the old year, so maybe that's why there's nothing directly in the center. But what's coming right after now, we have the Tzadi and the Gimel. And they're both, I'm seeing them both on the path line. They're kind of stacked here, you can see. And the Tzadi, interestingly, is, since it's turned over, I'm seeing it as a little bit of a internal manifestation of this. The Tzadi is the letter that begins the word Tzadik, which means righteous one, and Tzedek, which means justice. So finding our internal righteousness, our internal sense of justice. It is the letter that's affiliated with the upcoming month of Shvat, which comes in 2 weeks from now. And Shvat is the month in which the sap rises in the trees. And you can see Tzadi looks a little bit like a tree. It's got those branches coming up and trunk coming down and roots going sideways here. It is the letter that represents the tribe of Asher. Asher, who is the son of Zilpah. And there's a theory that she may have named her children Asher and Gad after 2 other Semitic deities, Asherah, the one who dwells within the trees, and Gad, the god of luck. So we have this coming up right now, this idea of connecting to justice, connecting to internal justice, connecting with the trees, even when the branches are bare, knowing that roots are going down into the earth, having trust with that. Connecting with the Asherah, the indwelling presence of the divine feminine who dwells within the trees. The trees, which give us oxygen, they exchange with us carbon dioxide for oxygen, and allow us to have an atmosphere in which we can exist on this planet. So really giving reverence to the trees, finding justice and righteousness in serving the earth that provides us the stability and the atmosphere in which to breathe. This is the next thing. Really spending some time outdoors maybe with the trees as we watch those bare branches against the sky and know that even though we can't see it, the sap is rising inside, internally. We have that. And similarly, on the same, in the same space, occupying the same space, we have the letter Gimel. The letter Gimel, which is a foot or a camel walking forward, it is affiliated with the planet Jupiter. And the name of the planet Jupiter in Hebrew is Tzedek, justice. So really interesting that it came right underneath the Tzadi. Gimel is about stepping forward, running forward, in fact, toward justice, finding our way forward. It's the number 3 in Gematria, and so to that end it speaks to the 3 creation elements of fire, air, and water. 3 aspects of the divine that give us the ability to live on this planet. Fire, because we need the light and heat of the sky. Water, because we need hydration, and air in order to breathe. So all of these things coming back to the earth, coming back to the trees, coming back to the sun and the sky, really honoring our connection with nature. Gimel is the binary transformation of peace and evil. Peace, which is the word shalom, back to shin again. And shalom is often translated as peace, which it is, but it's also this concept of not just absence of war, but wholeness, bringing back pieces together into a whole. Gimel is that transformation between that wickedness and peace. And perhaps the idea of wholeness and brokenness. What has been broken and how can we balance it by making it whole again? Gimel is the first letter of Gan Eden, the garden. Back to the garden where we were one with the divine, where we were one with nature, where we had a very whole relationship, a very peaceful relationship with nature and the divine. And Gimel is the letter that just means we are moving forward. We are moving forward into the new year. We're moving forward toward justice. We're moving forward toward righteousness. And ideally, we're honoring those elements that give us the ability to live in this planet. Down here near the bottom, the lowest letter in the reading, in fact, we have the letter Mem. And it's on its face, it's tipped over. Mem is the letter that is the mother letter of water. It's the creation element of water. And it's face down, which to me says that there's some challenge with it, or maybe there's some fear about it, that we are in this period of time right now. Mem represents the winter in the year, so maybe we're having a challenge with the winter. Maybe we're having a difficult time with all the rain that's coming down and the darkness, or maybe we're having a hard time gestating what we need to gestate. Some say that the Mem looks like a womb and it's full of amniotic fluid. So are we gestating something that we're having a hard time waiting for to come into fruition? We're having a hard time waiting for something to come to birth. That there's a fear that whatever it is we're gestating won't get born, similar to the Yud down here, that those seeds are not growing. This is the foundation of sexuality, and this is the manifestation of gestation. So again, something that's really challenging right now is we're waiting for something to get born, and we don't know whether that's going to happen or when it's going to happen, and maybe a really difficult birth that we're awaiting. And the winter, the cold, the wet. When Mem appears below the line, for me, a lot of times that references grief. Maybe we're experiencing enormous amounts of grief, those tears. Maybe the earth is crying for us. And we're in this period of time where we're grieving or needing to grieve whatever it is we need to leave behind or whatever pain that we're enduring. And remembering that this mother letter is about transformation through water. So the grief is a pathway through which we pass in order to come out the other side. So that's very down low on the reading. So grief is up, and in the near future, just as we come past this stepping forward into searching for justice. And just a little bit above that, slightly below the line, we have the letter Kuf, and it's again face down. So Kuf is the letter which begins the word kadosh or kodesh, meaning sacred or sacredness, and it's that manifestation of the divine in terms of what is holy, what is sacred. Being face down, it makes me think there's a fear around the lack of sacredness. Again, with the yud down here, the yud feeling like we've been abandoned by divinity because of the challenges that we've endured in this past period of time, that there's a fear that there is no sacredness. Kuf is also the first letter of the word kof, which means monkey. So there may be some animalistic nature that's at play here, that we're being tripped up because we have this monkey on our back, that we have some kind of really animalistic desires or reactions to situations, that maybe we want to do things that are not kadosh, that are not holy, that are not sacred. We just want to lie back on our base instincts to, harm others or take what isn't ours because we want it. There's a fear there. There's a fear that we are going to fall into that. And I think that's valid. I mean, there's been a lot of violence in the recent past, so that fear is really valid. But we need to remember that the divine is everywhere, and that the holiness, the sacredness, that even in the challenging stuff, the sacred is there, that we just can't see it yet, perhaps because it's below the surface, that we are challenged with understanding the contradictory nature of the faces of the divine, that we don't really know how this is going to play out. And so maybe we're angry, maybe the kuf is telling us that we're really struggling, we're really challenged to get ourselves through this difficult time of agitation with the shards and the shells that are causing irritation in the world, that there is a lot of death. This is the first letter of the word Kaddish, which is the prayer that we say for the dead. And that again is really valid, that we have some big challenges right now, this internal struggle that we're going through between what is sacred and what is animalistic. So that's coming up a little bit too. And the furthest to the right in this reading, we have the letter Aleph, the mother letter of air. So it's great that we have all three mother letters here. Aleph is up here high on the reading, so above the line. Aleph, the number one, the divine. And Aleph being the mother letter of air, this is about breath. It's about taking time to sit in meditation, maybe to breathe, and to feel our own lungs in our body, to have gratitude for the trees that allow us to have air. Aleph is a balancing between heaven and earth, a balancing between the yud above and the yud below, and this vav connecting between. Aleph is the first letter of many of the divine names in Torah: El Elyon, Elohim, Adonai, and it's also the first letter of Adam, Adamah, human, and mud. So it's that balance, again, between what is sacred and what is base, what is heaven and what is earth. And since it's above the line, it's saying to me that this is a time to reach up for that. That if we're having challenges with that idea of the monkey self fighting with the kadosh, the sacred, that we can reach up and sit and feel the balance between heaven and earth, to feel the air as it comes in and out of our bodies, to get back to the real basics of sitting and breathing. Aleph is the number one, and yet if you spell it with a different vowel, you get Aleph, which means 1,000. So it's got this paradox of unity within multiplicity. So one divine, and yet trillions of faces of the divine. We have one body, but we have trillions of cells within it, one universe and trillions of stars. So how do we reconcile that? how do we reconcile that there's oneness and there is multiplicity, that there's a fractionating, fractaling of all these different aspects, these shatterings of the divine that exist in all things, even the things that are difficult, even the things that are painful. So being aware that we can find balance in that if we can sit and breathe, if we can sit and feel the breath coming in and out, to really focus on the oneness and let our minds see all the myriad faces of the divine, all the different names of the divine. Whether we resonate with them or not, they are still valid names of the divine. And that's what's going to come in the final analysis here of this transition time through to the new year. That we have come from a place of the Ein Sof, of the unknown, of the emptiness, of the void, of the zero, and we move all the way through all of these different numbers to the one. We have connection that's gotten us through the past, the warmth of the sun, the warmth of the inner sun, and the feeling lifted up and sheltered by the divine internally. That we have the sun and the moon and the stars and the fire and all the passion that has gotten us through this past time. That even if there's been challenges with thinking our way out of a thing, or with new beginnings that we don't feel comfortable starting because who knows what's going to happen next. If we can't see those seeds, whether there's going to be barrenness or seed in the coming time because it's under the ground. But straight up above that is being present and ready for service, being ready for the divine when they call our name, to say Hineni, and really reaching up with hope internally, inside of ourselves, reaching up with being able to discern what we take in and know what to do with it, to be able to learn and teach new things, and planting ourselves firmly in the ground, reaching up with our heart mind toward the divine has gotten us through so far. And here we are coming into a time of Shvat, of justice, of the trees, of stepping forward, moving toward justice. And even if it's challenging in the winter, even if we don't know what's happening with this gestation, maybe we're frustrated, we can transform through water. That when we have difficulties discerning what is holy, what is sacred, when we're challenged by becoming our animal selves, that we can turn ourselves up toward the breath, that we can honor the trees, honor the atmosphere, the air that has been given to us by Shekhinah, by the divine, by El, that we have the ability to balance the oneness with the multiplicity of all things. And this is a beautiful reading for 2024, the transition to the new year. I hope that you found it useful and interesting. I sure did. If you're interested in seeing more, please like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you here in the future. Happy New Year.